Alright, today I will talk about a new Predator film titled Predator Badlands. So Predator Badlands, if you don't know what it is, well, it is a standalone film set in the franchise, of course. And technically this is the next film after Predator Killer of Killers, you know, that animated one that was awesome. So, I watched the trailers for this, and the premise sounds interesting, you know, because there's a catch in this film. The protagonist is now the Predator, alright? So, they flip it up a little bit. Now, the Predator himself, he's a part of a clan, alright? And as a Predator, he is kind of an amateur. He has a lot to prove to himself and to his clan. And in order to do that, he has to, you know, go to this uncharted planet and find this big giant monster to kill. Of course, he is accompanied by a cyborg alien. This cyborg alien is played by Elle Fanning, and yeah, she's amazing in the role. Also, when you look at this, you know, you see he has to carry her throughout the course of the movie, you know. Almost all of the movie he has to carry her around. And that results into a lot of bantering between the two. And that is the moment where I realized that Predator is now owned by Disney, and it shows. Alright? The bantering, well, even though it's not cringe, I feel like their banter is intended to be comedic, but almost all the time it doesn't really stick the landing. And if you remove the comedic moments throughout this film, it would actually make it a lot better. As I said before, it doesn't reach the moment of cringiness, no. But it does in some moments really bug me out and throws me out of the experience for just a little bit. Now, in this Badland, this is an uncharted territory, an uncharted planet. So, our Predator has to face some dangerous threats. And that leads us to the action. This film does have plenty of action sequences with him hunting things and facing off against dangerous things, dangerous monsters. And by the way, the design of the monsters themselves, they look pretty awesome. Alright, they look pretty awesome, and the action, the fight scenes are really great. Now, that being said though, I still think that the movie would have benefited a lot if it was R-rated. Because when you see the movie on screen, it is very clear that this is a PG-13 film that pretends to be an R-rated film and just squeeze a little bit of a gruesome scenes here and there without any blood. And to me that is really strange because, alright, this is a Predator movie. You should at least add a little bit of a bloodshed here and there, and the fight scenes would have been far more engaging, and they're really awesome. Watching this film really, you know, really arouses one major question. It made me realize something. And that is, the Predator movies needs humans. Alright? Not in the lead role. Not always in the lead role. That's fine. You can have the humans as a reason for the plot to move forward. Because if you look at this film in the narrative standpoint, there's not a lot going on in this film whatsoever. Yes, the Predator hunts a lot of monsters, and he has to claim this big trophy and return to his planet to claim his throne. But other than that, man, the movie doesn't seem like it knows where it wants to go, you know. And if this film would have included maybe two humans as a driver to the plot that progresses the plot further, I think it would have made a lot more sense, because the movie constantly struggles with, you know, moving the plot forward, and it results in a lot of action sequences moving from point A to point B to point C and all the way around without doing anything important in the narrative standpoint. And when you see the movie, you really felt that this film feels kind of aimless at times. It doesn't know where to go, the end game destination. And to me, that is the biggest problem that I have with this film. Yes, it is entertaining, it has a lot of action, but when you look at the movie, you know, other than the action and all that stuff, and you just focus on the narrative things, it doesn't stick out the landing. You know, if you compare this film to the OG Predator starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, in the first film with Arnold, the Predator is there, you know, it's a constant threat, and our protagonist, the humans, must fight them. There is at least an attempt to create a satisfying narrative in that film. But in this film, the movie feels empty at times when you look at the narrative. So yes, this film, Predator Badlands, is far from the best. But I don't think that this film is really that bad. If you got a lot of time to kill, well, this is your watch. This could be an entertaining watch if you ignore a lot of that narrative stuff. But if you want to focus on that narrative stuff, well, this one is not for you. You just go back and watch the OG Predator movies. So, I will give Predator Badlands a 6 out of 10. So, tell me what you think. If you have seen Predator Badlands, what you like, does this film really need to exist at the first place, or just go ahead with a different story, a direct sequel to the Prey movie, for example? It would have been better in my opinion, but tell me everything. What is your favorite Predator film? And see you on the next video.